And this is just a little graphic. It shows the top 3 wealthiest people have the same amount of wealth as the bottom 50% in the United States. So we can't afford to subsidize these people anymore. There are way, way more of us than there are of them. If they're the 1%, that means there's 99 of us for every one of them, right? Okay, you can put it ahead. So what can we do? We can resist. Peace Action is resisting, Nukewatch is resisting, a lot of organizations are resisting. And I know when we look at the numbers, we feel really small, but we are anything but small. We need to do the things that we're good at in our homes, in our communities, on whatever scale we feel we can work, and try to make things better in our world. How many of you have heard of the Kings Bay Plowshares? Can you raise your hand just to get an idea? Okay, so these people, there are 7 people here who broke onto the Kings Bay Navy base in Georgia, April 4th, on the commemoration of the assassination of Martin Luther King, on the 50th anniversary. And they broke onto the Navy base because it's the largest nuclear submarine base in the world. They have, on that Navy base, they have 6 ballistic missile subs and 2 guided missile subs. For breaking on to the Navy base, pouring some of their own blood, they could be facing many years in prison. But they're trying to get the word out there. This is what's going on, and to them, that's worth it. Nukewatch, right now, my coworker, John LaForge, right there, he's the other, oh, he has my hat on. He is doing a similar kind of action in Germany. He's breaking onto an Air Force base it's a German Air Force base, where, guess what? US nuclear weapons are based that would be used in a NATO agreement if we had a target over there. The US has nuclear weapons on German soil. We have nuclear weapons in Turkey, Netherlands, and a few other countries, Italy. And so Nukewatch right now is over there in support of a German occupation of this Air Force base to oppose the US imperialism, the US nuclear weapons there. You can... And this is their, John has broken onto the base 3 times in the last month or so. This is the last one. They dressed up as weapons inspectors. So that's what that says in German. Do we need more action like this? Yes. We need more Kings Bay Plowshares. We need more action like this. We also need more people to do independent media. You also need more people to raise food in a way that nourishes our bodies and nourishes this earth instead of destroying our bodies in the earth. We need more people to teach our children the truth. And I mean, basically we need people to do a lot of different things. We need people to fix shit up. And we need people to fuck shit up. We need to do all of it. We need to break out of our comfort zones, and we need to work in solidarity with other groups that are doing things on the front lines. If we think about the front lines of bombs, we can think anyone who's ever had a nuke pointed at them in another country, North Korea, South Korea, Russia, anywhere. We think of those people as the people on the front lines that could be victims of a nuclear weapon or survivors. Also, on the front lines, you can people are on the front lines of the nuclear industry all along the nuclear fuel chain, starting with the mining, and then weapons testing. You might be surprised to know that more people have died from weapons testing alone than Hiroshima and Nagasaki together. And 2.4 million people could eventually die from cancer as a result of just the atmospheric testing. Okay, there's the workers working in this industry. 33,000 workers have died as a result of workplace radiation. Native people all over the world have always been on the front lines because they're always the ones displaced or exposed to the radiation at the mines in Niger, Australia, Canada, the United States. And I want to highlight a group doing some really great work in the United States, a native-led organization. You can go ahead. There is a, right up there, this. That's what a nuclear waste canister looks like. We have waste from producing weapons, from making bombs. We have waste, a lot of waste from nuclear power. And it's all connected and we need to stop it all. There's a group called Halt Holtec, and they are working to oppose nuclear waste dump that would involve 10,000 train cars of radioactive waste going through the country. And there's a plan with, there's a Holtec waste dump, and there's also Yucca Mountain, which has come back on the table in the past few years. Yucca Mountain was going to be the nuclear waste repository. It was stopped in 2010, now it's back on the table potentially. We need to continue to oppose these. And there's a group that's doing this right now. And I'm just going to show you a clip of somebody who showed up at one of their public hearings, and he's going to do a talk.
Hello, my name is Mihaly. I'm out here at the NRC public scoping meeting to stand and speak out against the proposed nuclear waste site. I've been involved in a lot of issues around uranium mining, nuclear colonialism, and the legacy of New Mexico as a nuclear sacrifice for the United States. And I oppose this very strongly. And I just want to say that I think that's a really terrible and awful idea, and it will have lasting impact that we should not have to face. And in addition to all the other issues that we face in nuclear New Mexico. And I'm also here representing the Red Nation. The Red Nation is an organization that is very strongly opposed to anything nuclear, anything to do with nuclear, from the mining, the milling and the processing, to the creation of the bombs, and to using land for nuclear waste storage, right? I mean, the United States should be thinking about, and the people on this continent should be thinking about how to shut down and deactivate all the nuclear facilities so that we don't create any more storage. We don't create the need for any more storage. Obviously, we're going to have to think about a way in which all of the storage gets stored properly, which we're already dealing with that legacy, right? The legacy of the contamination from the mines, the legacy of the contamination from Los Alamos and other areas, right? That's already issues that we already have to face. And what I don't understand, and what a lot of us don't understand, is why we have to create new issues to deal with new waste, and we shouldn't have to be dealing with this, right? The only reason why they're dumping it on New Mexico is we're a poor state. They know that we're desperate for cleanup jobs, waste jobs. They know that no one cares, that it's a politically safe move to dump it on the poor people of New Mexico. So just say no to nuclear waste. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity.
Sorry you couldn't see the video. That was a picture of the video. But that man works with Halt Holtec, so they're one of the groups that's right there on the front lines, and they're actually working to help us in a way, because if you look at what would happen if the radioactive waste, a product of the bomb making, started to be moved at this point right now, we don't have a safe way to move it. There are going to be accidents. And right now there are 2 nuclear power plants that are closed down. They have a lot of radioactive waste that would be transported by rail right through Milwaukee, the purple line you can see there. And you can go ahead. There's a few pieces of legislation that I can just tell you a little bit about. The first one, oppose Yucca Mountain dump. That's called HR 3053. It's probably not going to pass anyway, but we need to keep our eye on it in the future because the Republicans with Trump really are trying to get this to move forward. Yes, we need to find a safe place to store this waste, but it's not Yucca Mountain. Well, first of all, Yucca Mountain does not belong to the United States. It belongs to the Shoshone people. It was not ceded territory, so it doesn't belong to us. Another piece of legislation restricting first use basically says if we're gonna launch a nuclear weapons, let's not be the first ones to do it. Okay, so it's it's positive direction. And then the trillion or $1.7 trillion nuclear weapons budget is made up of several different plans that all can be opposed individually. And I met somebody tonight from Friends Committee on National Legislation. They probably know more about the specifics of those, but all of those can be opposed. These are legislative actions we can take. We can also take actions in the street. If this, or on the railroads, if this radioactive waste starts to be transported, we might need people to stop the trains. We might need people to be out watching for radioactive transportation vehicles with